You don't sound like a ghoul. If you don't have a ghoul, go away. Important scientific research. And maybe a bit of poking and prodding. Well, why didn't you say so? Come on in. Crick will fill you in on what we're doing. Hey, Crick, Peepin' Thomas is back.
Well, yeah, you keep feeding him.
What can I say? I've got a soft spot for decaying creatures, large and small. Anyway, he did the damnedest thing.
More damnedester than his terrifying meow?
Hey, it's not like we had those things back east. Anyway, all I had was toast, so I said, sorry, buddy, you're looking at a bread sandwich.
Wow, my mind. Oh, how you've blown it.
It should be, because then he rolled over. I say, what kind of carnivore wants bread? And he rolls over again. He wouldn't eat it, though.
That's my trick. I say bread, and Lenore rolls over. Bread roll. I had a cat once, but I lost her. She was a beautiful Bengal. That is to say, a cat with spots. Rather uncommon. She went missing soon after the bombs hit. I'm keenly aware of that. You don't have to prepare me for the disappointment you assume is inevitable. Unfortunately, it's highly likely that she was butchered and eaten. Before midnight struck the world, Boulder teemed in the open sunlight, with colorful reveries and non-murderous life. It was a deep blue Saturday morning when the sirens wailed. After so many drills, they were just another part of the soundscape, like cars or geese. After the explosion, we ran, hoping to reach the dome before it closed. But with our skin blowing like tattered flags, we had to settle for the cave. Our lives were about friends, pizza, and baseball, not imminent death. Vaults were for those possessed by more fear and money than sense. When we mistook the drills for real, people were injured, livelihoods suffered. The last straw was being roused at 3 a.m. on a school night. It punished us to listen, so we stopped and took comfort in a sentiment that our country was so strong, only a fool would dare to spit in our eye. We waited for it to dissipate, but the radiation was like nothing we'd ever heard of. A few brave souls ventured out for food, but never returned. Soon, we were forced to consume people as fast as they died, before the maggots could burst from their flesh as if lying dormant all along. When we were left with nothing but the soles of our shoes, my faithful and precious Lenore was all that stood in the way of drawing straws. The first thing I thought was what happened between calling Dad about coming home for my birthday and waking up on the floor with glass in my head. Followed by how on earth a deaf orphan was supposed to set a 70-year-old woman's flayed arm. Tugging Lenore into my jacket came woefully late. That was recovered much later. Thank you. I was shocked upon realizing that I was the only one who'd bothered. Pets were supposed to be family. My hearing had recovered enough to perceive shouting. Then hands started grabbing, tearing us apart until Andre fired his pistol at the ceiling. I couldn't let them butcher my best friend for being the wrong species. At least, until I felt my Gram's hand rest on mine, so weak and cold. The burns around Lenore's neck were bleeding again, chafed by the leash I'd made from my shoelace. So I loosened it. For her comfort, I said. Then I fell asleep, her little body purring against me to the end. When I awoke, the leash was empty. In the end, it didn't really matter. Soon after, someone we'd thought dead made it back with food, and I was all alone. Thank you for letting me confide in you. If you hear anything more about that cat, please let me know.
That is weird. Could you let me know if he displays any other unusual behaviors?
Sure thing.
What's it like outside?
Friend, do you suppose that an animal could have experienced a similar reaction to radiation as I and the others had? I had a cat once. She was a beautiful Bengal. Under ordinary circumstances, I'd half-heartedly accept and request a hug, but truth be told, I never actually witnessed anyone eat her. Before midnight struck the world, after the explosion. Yes, onwards and all that. What's next? Of course. Before midnight struck the world. As much as I'd like to fatten your lip for saying so, in hindsight, we both probably would have been better off if I'd left her behind. My hearing, then I fell asleep. In the end, it didn't really matter. Soon after, someone we'd thought dead made it back with food, and I was all alone. Thank you for letting me confide in you. If you hear anything more about that cat, please let me know.